Awesome. Wonderful. Well, again, welcome to you. Congratulations. I love this. You have made a decision to make time for you and your business to invest in yourself. And we're thrilled to have you here. My name is Holly Highfield. I am coming to you from Sarasota, Florida. And this is the Activate Academy. This is a monthly consultant training. This is a training that is designed for you, the Life Vantage consultant. And it's a way for you to continue to sharpen your skills to be able to do and have more success within your LifeVantage business. Now, before you ask, yes, this call is recorded. Every single one is always recorded. We do upload these onto our YouTube channel. I will share that link in the chat later. Please know that the recording will be available later on. Really, I just want to be able to get this show on the road for you guys because I am thrilled for the incredible guest presenter that we have for you today. But first, if this is your first time coming and joining us, then welcome. We are thrilled to have you here with us. You are in for a treat. If you've been with us before, welcome back. We're thrilled to have you, and you kind of know the flow by then at this point if you've been with us before. So, I like to start us out with a little story to kind of set the stage and really just help to create that help cast a little bit of vision, right? Sometimes we struggle with a little bit of vision or we need to be reminded, but we want to get in the good headspace today as we bring on our guest speaker today. So first and foremost, so before we go ahead and I tell this story, so here's the story. If this is your first time, I'm going to share a story, but I'm not going to tell you who the story's about. All right. Usually it's about a famous person who you may or may not know. And you're welcome to go ahead and cast your guesses in the chat. I would love to see if you figure out who it is as we go on. But I want you to think about the learning points as we go through this story. Okay. So I want you to think about today specifically about someone that you personally like. How would you maybe show up a little bit differently in your business if you weren't afraid? Right? If you didn't allow fear to dictate your thoughts, your decisions, or even the idea of hearing the word no, right? That can be pretty powerful. Two-letter word can be so powerful and cast so much, disbelief in ourselves and our ability to be able to do things. So think about that. If you weren't afraid, like who would you call? Who would you be following up with? What might you actually post on social media? What ideas would you actually act upon if that was the case? And what might change if you stopped waiting for someone else to pick you? What if you're waiting for someone else to be the leader? You're waiting for someone else to move the needle and get things maybe happening in your area. You're waiting for someone else so that you can just join in versus being the person in front of that room, right? What if? So, as I tell you this story, I want you to think just a little bit about those things. All right. So, as we start off today, I'm a little excited because this person that we're going to be talking to you about today, she actually was born and raised in Clearwater, Florida. I'm not in Clearwater, but I am close to Clearwater. But I love my Floridians, beautiful palm trees, right? It's nice and hot here. But this is a person who already had a plan for her life. And maybe you know someone like this, but she was going to become an attorney. And she was going to become an attorney because her father was an attorney. Okay. So she went to college, she earned her degree, and she took the LSATs and the test that she needed to get into law school. But guess what? She bombed it. She completely bombed it. She thought she had her whole life figured out and what she was going to do. So she's like, you know what? That's okay. Not everybody, gets it the first time. So she takes it again. She bombed it again. Okay. So the future that she had already pictured for herself was suddenly, it wasn't happening. She was having to pivot, she was having to shift. So she thought she'd try something completely different, which this is way out in left field. And she wanted to actually go to Disney World in the hopes of actually playing a character. Now, this is a little strange. The character that she was hoping to play as a character at Disney was she wanted to be the Goofy. She wanted to be Goofy, but there was a problem with that. She was too short. You might have to meet certain requirements if you want to uphold certain characters' appearances, right? So instead, She ended up working at Epcot, so she still did get to work at Disney, but she was helping guests onto rides. Again, not what she was hoping for, right? So that job lasted for about 3 months. And eventually she answered an advertisement for a different job. Now, with this job, it wasn't as very glamorous, okay? She was given a phone book. Anybody remember the Yellow Pages? I do. Are we all aging ourselves by raising our hands when we say that? If you remember the Yellow Pages, she was given a phone book, 4 zip codes, and a quota. She had to sell $20,000 worth of fax machines every month. Anybody also remember fax machines? I know our Amish team who are on here, they still use the fax machines. So they're not completely gone away with the dinosaurs. There are people that still use them today. So think about this. And maybe think about the how we build our business today. She was going door to door, literally door to door selling, cold calling businesses, people she had no relationships with, walking into offices where people they weren't inviting her in, right? She was just popping on in and she kept hearing no. She kept hearing the word no over and over and over again, being escorted out of businesses, having her business card ripped up in front of her face, right? She had people who didn't want what she was selling. Sound familiar? Ever have anybody tell you that they don't want what it is that you have to offer, even though you know it could help them? Yeah. But she kept showing up. And guess what happened? The funny thing was is that she actually started to get good. She kept showing up and she pushed through it and she started to get good. And so she learned how to start conversations, how to handle the objections, following up, and really just how to keep going even when someone told her no. She became so good at it that by 25, she was actually starting to train the other salespeople. But there was something still inside her that knew that she was capable of more. She later described the feeling as though she was in the wrong movie. Okay. So she went home and she wrote down what she wanted. She wanted to create a product. Odd, right? But she wanted to create a product of her own, something that was hers, and she wanted to sell it to millions of people. Okay. So again, she went back to selling machines, fax machines, and for approximately 2 more years, nothing was happening until one night she was getting ready for a party. She wanted to wear a pair of cream colored pants, but she didn't like how traditional pantyhose looked underneath them. Yes, there was a time where people actually wore pantyhose all the time and even under their pants. I know you women can probably relate, right? Been there, done that. When I first started in my banking career, I was wearing the dreaded pantyhose with my suits every single day to the bank. All right. So I can appreciate where she's coming from. So, but she wanted to wear them, but the problem was that she didn't again like the way they were fitting underneath. So what she did was she grabbed a pair of scissors and she actually cut the feet off. Like you wouldn't like who would cut the feet off of the bottom of the pantyhose? Now, obviously it wasn't perfect. They rolled up on her legs all night, but instead of just being annoyed by the problem, she thought there must be a better way. There's got to be a better way. And this is where this little idea came to her. And here's where her story got really interesting. She had no experience in fashion, right? Think about that. How many of us don't have any experience in network marketing before joining LifeVantage? Guilty, right? No experience in fashion, no experience in manufacturing, investing, none of that. No big company backing her. But she did have around $5,000 in her savings from selling those fax machines, those dinosaur machines. And she had this idea. So she started figuring it out. Okay. And at night, after working her regular job, again, she didn't quit her job. She built this on the nights and weekends outside of her regular gig, right? She started to research the industry and hosieries and patents. So she drove to manufacturers trying to convince someone to take her product, and they all said no again and again and again. Think about the irony. So for 7 more years, you guys, she's been selling something other than what people didn't want to buy. Now, she finally had somebody or something that she believed in, that she felt she believed in it enough that something that could change people's lives, even though people still didn't want to hear about what she had. But this time, the no's didn't scare her, right? She's been training for this. She's been building up to this. And eventually, a manufacturer agreed to give her a chance. Then she needed someone to actually sell the product. So she managed to get a meeting with the buyer at Neiman Marcus, classic. And during that meeting, she could tell she was losing the person that she was talking to. So she didn't just keep talking, she changed her approach. She asked the buyer to come into the restroom with her, and she actually demonstrated the difference of what her product would make underneath her own white pants. And Neiman Marcus agreed to test that product then in several more stores. I'm not even seeing what's on the chat, guys. I wonder if anybody's figured it out yet. So, but she still didn't sit back and wait for customers to magically discover it, right? Because some people will be like, "Oh, I've arrived," right? They're going to take it, they're going to sell it for me. No, no, no. She went into the actual stores herself. She trained the sales associates how to sell her product. She demonstrated the product. She called journalists. She even recruited some of her own friends to come into the store to be buyers. How cool is that? Right? And then came the phone call that changed everything. One of the most influential women on television had discovered her product and decided to feature it on one of her favorite things. Yes, the woman was Oprah Winfrey. And suddenly, the little company that had started with a pair of scissors and $5,000 was exploding. The first year, the business generated over $4 million in sales. The next year, about 10 million. Years later, the company would be valued at more than $1 billion. And the woman who couldn't even get into law school and who was too short to even play Goofy spent 7 years having the door shut in her face, selling fax machines, and couldn't initially convince anyone to help her with her idea or that it was worth even making, that anybody would want it, became one of the world's most successful self-made female entrepreneurs. You guys figured out yet? It was Sara Blakely. Sara Blakely is the founder of Spanx. Now, whether you have personal experience with Spanx or not, her story, I truly think, speaks volumes. Okay. She didn't wake up one morning with all the skills that she needed to build $1 billion bit company. She developed them while doing something she probably never imagined would matter, and that was selling fax machines door to door. Every cold call, every objection, every follow up, every person, right? Every time she had to figure out another way, she pivoted. And that was all training her for what was coming next. And I have to wonder how many of us are discounting what we're learning, even right now, because maybe the results don't look the way we want them to yet. Think about that. Okay. This invitation or that invitation that you're nervous to send, that person maybe who didn't respond, the follow-up that you've been avoiding, the post that got 3 likes. You're like, oh, this is great. This is going to go viral, and it falls flat. That new technology that you're so uncomfortable or scared to want to learn. What if none of it was actually wasted? Because Sara didn't wait for someone to discover her. She didn't wait until she knew everything. She didn't wait until somebody gave her permission. Do you guys realize no one needs to give you permission to build your LifeVantage business or have success in life? No, you don't need anyone's permission. Okay. She took ownership. And that's exactly what I'm excited about today. Okay. Because building this business today requires some of the same fundamentals it always has. It's your mindset, it's your conversations, right? All business is conversation. It's the invitations that you're making, the follow up, and the consistency. Whatever that consistency looks like for you. Okay. But how we build, it continues to evolve because social media changes. Consumers change the way in which they buy. We are all seeing that right now, right? And AI has changed a lot in the way in which people work and build those connections. And today's consultant has an opportunity to take the fundamentals that have always worked, the basics, and combine them with these new tools that didn't even exist a few years ago. And that's where we're going to be digging into with our incredible guest uh, speaker today. So I'm going to stop my share here real quick because yeah, we're good with the slides for right now because I'm going to make sure that I turn the host over to Jenny here so she can share with you what she has in store. But just real briefly, you guys, I personally have had the privilege. Um, of getting to know Jenny Crane for, I think she's been in as long as I have. I've been in for about 14 and a half years. I feel like her and I, our journeys kind of started right about the same time. And so she's an entrepreneur. She's a wife and a mom of two boys. She's an executive consultant, three with us here at LifeVantage, and she's built a multi-million dollar business that's global. All right. Not a lot of people can say that. That's a pretty powerful statement. But what's really impressed me the most about Jenny, and I wrote everything down because I didn't want to forget anything because this is genuinely how I think and see Jenny. All right. I'm overjoyed that she said yes to be able to do this today. But what I love is, and I've been impressed by Jenny, is that it's not her rank or her size of her organization as much as it is the leader that she's become along the way. Okay. Jenny understands how to build systems and knows that that allows people to grow their businesses with or without her. They don't need her permission to be able to grow their businesses. The tools she has set those tools in place so that they can plug into that. She's intentional about accountability. She's partner with cross-lane leaders. And I love that. And I love that that's part of our culture here at LifeVantage. Okay. You don't have to have your direct enroller still around. It doesn't matter. Find someone within the LifeVantage family that you can connect with and lock arms with. Okay. She's embraced social media effortlessly, it almost seems, when you look at her social media and attraction marketing. And she does it in a way that has significantly impacted her business and not just the businesses on for her team members, but for other cross-line people. She's experienced tremendous success. She's experienced loss. And she's even reached a point in this business where frustration had her seriously considering walking away. Let me ask you this. How many of you have thought about walking away in your LifeVantage business? It's okay. I want you guys to understand. I think that we have this stigma around our industry that we're never supposed to actually talk about the bad and you don't want to be too vulnerable and oh, let me just put my big girl pants on and we got this. Yes, it's an incredible industry. It's an incredible business and it can truly change the trajectory of your life and the people who you choose to share it with. But it doesn't mean that you don't have doubts along the way. It doesn't mean that you're going to experience things that are going to really make you question, am I on the right path? Right? But that's okay because she obviously didn't, and I'm so glad she didn't walk away from this. Okay. She understands what it feels like to wonder if what you're doing is actually working. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted to have her here today. Because whether you personally are feeling disconnected, right? And you're maybe trying to find your way back. Maybe you took the summer off and you're trying to get back into those back to school routines. Or your business, maybe your business is actually on a rocket ship and you're asking, how do I take it even further? Okay. I believe Jenny has something for everybody. All right. Let me see. Trying to, I believe that Jenny has something here for everybody. She's going to cover, I've got an outline, you guys. This woman, I was like, what do you want to cover? And she was on it. I love organization. She's got it all mapped out. She has so many different topics for each of you. But again, beyond all of that, she has an incredible heart. I've seen it firsthand. I've experienced it. She genuinely wants to see others win, and I'm honored that after all these years here in LifeVantage, that I get to call her not just a fellow consultant, but I do call her a friend. And I genuinely say that as well. So make sure, get your notebooks ready. All right. I want to see a little bit of love in the chat. Go ahead and show some emojis. Who is ready and excited to hear from our executive consultant three, Jenny Crane, today? I know I am.
You guys, I'm so excited. Holly, I just love you so much. You're so sweet. And truly, you guys, thinking about the journey here with LifeVantage, we are a part of the best company with the best people and the best culture. So we're gonna have fun today. Who's excited to get started? I mean, so when Holly reached out to me, she's like, "Girl, we got 90 minutes." I'm like, "90 minutes? Who wants to hear me talk for 90 minutes?" So we're going to cover quite a bit today, and I'm going to share my story. We're going to talk a little bit about mindset. We're going to talk about the basics of network marketing, the proven plan, you guys, right? There's so many different ways to do this business, but most importantly, we're going to teach you today how to make it feel good for you. And so we're going to cover a lot. We're going to talk about social media. Holly mentioned social media. You guys, if you're not using social media to grow your business, even remotely, I promise you today, after we finish this training, you will be inspired to keep it simple. And then we're going to wrap it up with AI. I love that you mentioned AI, Holly, because that's changing the world. It's changing the world we're living in. And when I first started using AI myself, I'm like, how am I going to figure this out? It seems so difficult, right? And we want to make today, when we leave this training, you're going to be able to use AI, the basics of AI, to really not only, take back your time, but the simple basics and how you can make it relevant for your LifeVantage business. With that being said, get your notepad out and your phone because we're going to be covering a lot. And a lot of those AI slides, social media slides, I'm going to just have you screenshot because if not, we'd be here for 2 hours and we're not going to do that to you today. So I'm going to share my screen here and hopefully we can figure this out. We love technology, right? I act like I'm an expert, but truly, you guys, if I could do this, you could do it. So I'm going to share my presentation here. Give me a second. And then Holly, you can let me know if you can see. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see your screen. Yep.
Awesome. Okay,
We are
guys,
cooking. I love it.
do
We
it.
got gas.
Yeah, and at
We
the
got
end,
gas in the tank.
we have some time at the end. Maybe we can stop the recording and answer some questions if we have some time. So, you guys, today we are going to teach you how to become a next level leader and network marketer. Put a one in the chat if you're ready to go to the next level. And you guys, truly, next level, it doesn't just happen overnight, right? This business requires fortitude. It requires you to be consistent. And that always wasn't easy for me, you guys. I truly, when Holly told you my story, like, I'm not kidding you, I was gonna walk away. Really, truly. I got frustrated about 6 years into building the business. I think back then I was a pro five. And I went to my husband and I was like, this just, I don't know, this isn't working. Why isn't this working? I'm not where I want to be. I've been building this business for 6 years. I was in a bad place. But thank God I have an incredible husband who has always seen the light. He's always supported. And truly, I would say that that's part of our success. Like, if it wasn't for his continuous encouragement, right, and support, we probably wouldn't be here today. So that's my first tip today, you guys. If you're on here and you're a spouse, support your spouse in this business. It's hard enough. We have so many naysayers in the world. So if we're having to struggle with a spouse not supportive, it's so much harder. And so I'm truly thankful for Nick. And as I look at this picture, you guys, I get emotional. This is almost around the exact time that we joined LifeVantage. Okay. My boys were little and we were on the struggle bus. So for those of you that don't know my story, I was in the mortgage industry. Holly and I are very similar in our backgrounds. And I had been doing that business for about 9 years. I eventually started my own company. And when the housing market crashed in 2009, everything went away overnight. You guys, we literally, when we joined LifeVantage, we had $50 in our bank account. That is a true story. And I can remember one of the stories that I like to tell is going to Trader Joe's, sitting in the parking lot and literally crying in the parking lot because I didn't have enough money to go in and buy the food that we needed for our family. Okay, so the struggle was real. And thank God I had a really tenacious sister-in-law. You guys may know who she is, Carrie Dickey. She never gave up on me. Guys, point number two, don't ever give up on the people that you care about with this business. Keep sharing, keep following up because she had to follow up with me for 3 years until I really had that vision in my heart that this was going to change the future for us. And Nick was, you guys know his story. Well, for those of you that don't, he's a chef by trade and he was working 14-hour days. You guys, he was struggling. We were struggling to make ends meet. We never saw him. And in fact, he'd come home about 12 at night, go to bed, sleep till 11 in the morning, never saw the boys. And I knew that if we weren't going to make a change, that this was going to be our life for the rest of our life. We were going to be on that hamster wheel. And so thank God we said yes, right? The story, you guys know the end of the story, it's still continuing, but we said yes to LifeVantage. And I have to say that it changed everything for us. Now we are embracing freedom, right? My husband was able to walk away from being a chef, you guys. in Southern California to start his own business because of LifeVantage. So I want to tell you today, if you're not where you are with your business, keep that vision of why you said yes, because it is going to make a difference. To be able to look at our story now and to know that my boys, this is kind of an older photo, but to be able to know that not only have Nick and I embraced freedom and being able to walk away from having a job, we've been able to embrace freedom with our family. Okay, my boys have been able to be raised in this culture of LifeVantage, watching their parents be able to live their dreams and life on their terms. It has radically changed everything for us. And today I sit in so much gratitude for this business and for what it's taught me as a person. It's made me a better mom, right? A better wife. So all the way around, it has grown us in so many ways. Getting emotional, I'm going to tell this story now, but Dylan just started his senior year of college. You guys, we have been able to put my son through college without the stress. Okay, he's going to graduate without any debt because of LifeVantage. We've been able to support him through that process. And to think about it 14 years ago, because we said yes, there's so many different reasons how our family is embracing freedom, finding happiness and fulfillment, and just living life on our terms. So, gonna go back to Nick. He started his own business 3 years ago. And you guys know startups, they're not easy, right? It takes some time to start making money. It's like you have to, make the website, you've got to do all the things. He was able to literally for the last 3 years, you guys, I'm actually in his work office right now. He was able to really, come up with the vision of starting his own chef agency. And they just expanded that agency last month to a complete estate agency. They've also built a software program. And I just see him becoming this person, right? I don't even recognize my husband today because he's been able to truly live life on his terms. So, as I talk about how grateful I am, you guys probably feel that in my voice. There's so many different reasons, and I was putting this presentation together today. Gratitude really puts us in a place of growth because when we're grateful for where we are today, right? When we're grateful for the blessings that we have, maybe you're not where you want to be in your LifeVantage business. I want you to think about the gratitude, right? And as I was listing out the things that I'm grateful for, LifeVantage has given us so much. And sometimes we forget that, right? We get frustrated. We might get, a little bit disillusioned thinking, oh, whatever, this is just a small little truly, you guys, I want you to sit in gratitude today as we launch this training. And so this is your first action step. Write this down or take a screenshot of this. I want you to write 10 things that you're grateful for today. Okay? Where you are today, what are you grateful for? Not just with this business, but your life. You guys, the fact that we woke up today breathing in this beautiful place, right? Wherever you're sitting today, that is a blessing. So when we focus on gratitude, everything else falls away, right? It's all about mindset and where we are. So I want you guys to start writing those down. And I want you to post those things that you're grateful for where you can see it, right? Because when life gets tough, right? When our businesses get tough, when the person tells us no, I want you to refer back to that gratitude list. Okay? Because when you're grateful, right? All the negativity falls away. And trust me, you guys know we have enough negativity in our world, right? So we're going to talk about the power of choice because your choices today, they're going to define your future, right? I told you our story. When we were at the place where we had $50 in our bank account, I knew that if I wasn't going to make a change in that moment, right? We're going to continue on that same path. And then I want you to ask yourself, what are you going to be willing to do to define your future? Okay, you're going to make choices today that are going to determine where you are in 5 to 10 years. And in those choices, you're going to have to do some uncomfortable things. You're going to have to be willing to sacrifice. Okay, what are you going to be willing to sacrifice? Is it your time? Right? Is it a weekend, like, instead of going to a vacation, you're going to go to our LifeVantage event, right? You're going to have to be willing to sacrifice the things that you need to get where you want to go. And then, of course, getting uncomfortable. You guys, human nature is we want to be comfortable, right? It's in our DNA. But what are you going to be willing to do to get where you want to go with this business? Are you going to be willing to get uncomfortable? Are you going to be willing to hear those no's? And then are you going to be willing to take action every single day, right? In your business? Action is a choice, right? It's so easy to sit on these trainings, get filled up, and then what happens after we end the training, right? We kind of get into that freeze mode. Are you going to get into action today, right? It's just, you're going to have to make that decision. So, we're going to talk about mindset. And I love that we're launching our training. Mindset is everything. It truly is. You guys, this business is 90% mindset and 10% mechanics. Once you learn the mechanics, you're going to know, right? When you go from amateur to professional in this business, that's going to be a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I want you to think about doctors and attorneys, right? They don't just become a doctor overnight. A brain surgeon doesn't going to just cut open someone's brain, right? Learn how to do it and the next day go operate on someone's brain. No, he has to go through the process, right? Of learning how to become a professional. And so I don't know where you are today in your business, but I want to ask you this question and I want you to think about it. Are you going to stick around long enough to find success? Okay. Because you guys, truly success, sometimes as you're climbing that hill, right? Pushing that ball up the hill. I love this slide right here, but it can feel like it's exhausting. It can feel like how I felt 6 years into building my business. I was so frustrated. I felt like I was pushing the ball up the hill and it wasn't going anywhere. And that's really how success can feel as you're climbing that hill to success. It can be a little overwhelming, right? And you can feel like you're pushing, pushing, pushing. But guess what? I love what Holly said at the beginning of this, right? Are you going to stick around long enough to see that success, to go through the process of getting rejected, of getting the no's, of not being where you want to be? Because guess what? Your decision to possibly quit, that very next day you could find the person that's going to blow your business up, right? So I want you to think about being willing to push the ball up the hill because I promise you your breakthrough is coming. Okay? Your breakthrough is coming on the other side. The freedom of achieving that breakthrough. And I don't care what rank you are in this business, every single rank that you're going to achieve, it's going to require a bigger, better version of who you are. Okay, as an executive consultant 3 today, you may think, oh my gosh, I would love to be an executive consultant 3 or an executive in this business. But I promise you, where I am today, I want to be better, right? I want to grow. I don't want to just ride out into the sunset because, we've been able to achieve success, right? There's always going to be a time where you're going to have to break through and go to that next level. So I want to just inspire you guys today that your breakthrough is coming. Stick around and be consistent. Okay, so we're going to talk about the belief gap, where you are versus where you want to be. And of course, you're going to close that gap through changed beliefs. So I want you also, you guys, write down 5 of your most negative beliefs about yourself. And this may be weird. Why does she want us to write down what the negative things? I promise you guys the belief gap of where you want to go, of where you want to be, it's in those changed beliefs. Maybe you have negative beliefs about the way you speak. Maybe you have a negative belief about, well, why would anybody want to join me in this business? I haven't achieved the success. Why are they going to listen to me? Okay, so I want you to think about these maybe they're subconscious. All right, what are those negative beliefs that you have right now that are holding you back? Because I promise you, when you close that gap, you're going to grow into the person that you've always wanted to be. And that's what I love about this business, you guys. This isn't just about, creating an income, all of the things. This is about growing you into the person that you were meant to be. And guess what? That's going to require you to get uncomfortable, right? Growing you into the person that you want to be. Personally, I do not like public speaking. Like I was nervous when I got on this call today. Truly. You probably are thinking, oh, she can just talk. And that's what my husband said last night. He's like, Jenny, you could just talk for 90 minutes. It's no problem. But truly, you guys, it's not a comfortable thing for me. So I had to get over that negative belief that why would anybody want to listen to me? I can't even stand the sound of my own voice, right? So those negative beliefs, trust me, we all have them. Okay. So whatever those are, I promise you, identify them because guess what? When you identify them, you're going to know how to work past those. So, and also one of the things that I want to talk about, and this is super important in regard to mindset, is taking ownership of your business. Okay. Your business is 100% you. Okay. I didn't wait around for Carrie Dickey to do everything for me, right? I am so blessed to have the best mentor but I had to take ownership of my business. And when you take radical ownership of where you are today, maybe you're not in the place that you want to be, take ownership of that. Don't blame anybody else, right? I always try to teach my team personal responsibility. If you're not where you want to be in your business today, or maybe you're thinking, oh, my enroller is not good at this. She hasn't taught me social media. You know what I mean? That's kind of those excuses that you need to take ownership of. All right. So taking radical ownership of your business, I promise you guys, once you do that, don't leave your success into the hands of others. Okay. That's what I love about network marketing and what we're doing here is that we're 100% independent. So when we try to blame other people because of where we're not and where we don't want to be, that's really kind of part of that negative mindset that we want to get over. And when you take that ownership and that figure it out mindset, when I started utilizing social media, you guys, 7 years ago, we didn't have a system around it, right? We didn't really have AI where I could just look it up and how to post online. I had to figure it out on my own. And I'm telling you what, it required me to get uncomfortable. But when I kind of overcame that negative mindset of like, oh my gosh, I remember the very first time I posted on social media, I was mortified. Like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think of me? This is now it's out there. Now I'm a real network marketer because people know like she's a network marketer, right? So I had all of those negative beliefs wrapped around it, but I took ownership and I figured it out. I didn't wait for Carrie to learn it. I didn't wait for somebody else on my team to learn it. I thought if I'm going to do this and I want my team to utilize this, I have to figure it out today. So truly, you guys, when you take ownership of that, it's going to be amazing. So we're going to talk about building a legacy business is a marathon, you guys, and not a sprint. Okay, for some people, when I hear those stories of success, they're like, oh my gosh, it took me 12 months to get to the top of my company. I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing. But when you understand that this business is going to require fortitude and consistency, right? All of those things, it's going to be huge, right? And so you have to know that you need to stick around long enough and be consistent. Consistency is everything. And now we're going to talk about removing distractions. Okay, protecting your focus. I love when people say, "Let's write down your goals. Let's write down all the things that we're going to do." Right? All of the things that I'm going to focus on every single day. And what people don't realize is sometimes distractions are what's keeping you from those goals. Okay, so we're removing distractions, whether it's you sitting down in front of the TV, right? You get home from work at the end of the day, you're exhausted, and you're like, oh, I just want to turn on the TV. I have to unplug. When really you should be doing your DMO or your social media posting or reaching out and inviting somebody to an opportunity presentation, right? So it's going to require you to shut off that TV, right? TV's a distraction. I love it. A lot of executive and very successful people, that's one of the things they say. The best thing I did was turn off the TV. Okay, so I'm just giving you an example of what a distraction might be. But a distraction for you could be anything, right? It could be a bad habit. You guys removing the bad habits in your life, you're going to find more success doing that than even working towards those goals, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But truly, removing distractions is going to help simplify your focus. Because when you're focused and when you're locked in, that's when your results are going to be multiplied. So I'm going to have you write down another action step. I want you to pick one focus this week, one thing that you're going to focus on this week that's going to help move your business forward. Okay? Whether that's inviting people to the next opportunity presentation that your team is hosting, whether it's sharing the first touch video, maybe it's the ABC Investigative Health Report. I want you to get hyper focused on that one thing for the next 7 days. Okay, maybe it's like I said, posting on social media. Whatever it is, you're going to find that when you're focusing on that one thing and you're committed to that one thing, you go all in with that one thing, you're going to realize that, oh my gosh, I'm making this business more difficult than it needs to be. Because when you're focusing on that one thing, you're hyper laser focused, you're going to see that those results are going to come on the other side. Okay. And then I love what Carrie Dickey says here, 100% commitment sets the tone for success. You guys have to be 100% committed on that one thing that you're going to focus on. Okay. All right. Love the mindset training. You guys get something from that? Holly, did you want to say something? I thought you wanted to unmute yourself.
No, no, not at all.
And
I mean, I don't know about you guys. Again, like I said, I like Jenny has said, if we've stopped growing or feel like we've come, like we've arrived, if you will, then we totally miss the whole reason what this is all about, right? And so I'm still taking notes. I'm really excited about it. Real quickly, again, if you have joined us, please make sure that you put yourself on mute. All right, even if you're busy around doing other things, maybe you don't have your camera on, that's totally okay, or you dialed in by phone. Please, please, please make sure that you are putting yourself on mute because I can't do that now because I'm not the host anymore and I don't want Jenny to stop her flow, right? How much are you guys loving what Jenny shared with you so far? Go ahead and drop a one and a hat, drop or in the chat, go ahead and drop a fire emoji. Are you seeing all those hearts all over the screen? I love it. I love it. But, I mean, again, mindset is powerful. I mean, we talk about it and we don't want to make it sound cliche, but our mind is a very powerful thing. And our mind is what can, like she said, it can literally deter us away from achieving our goals. Sounds good to me. Oh my gosh, Donna, I love the GIF. That's awesome. Oh, that's great. 100% commitment does what? I love it. All right. So yes,
I
Jenny,
love it.
please continue.
Okay, we got a
Hey,
lot to
girl.
cover. I realize I am
I
talking, so
didn't
maybe I
realize. So they brought two
Yeah. So,
puddings.
well,
They brought two
maybe you can mute
cakes.
Winnie for me, Jenny.
okay, let me do that real quick. I'm gonna
Yeah.
escape out of here.
Let's mute. We
I
got
know
Winnie and a couple folks on the phone that
we
aren't.
got mute and
Oh,
mute.
see,
There we
okay,
go.
what happened?
Yeah.
And we got Winnie's unmuted. Okay, let's
Yeah.
see.
She needs to get muted because I can't seem to mute her. There we
I
go.
think she's muted. Awesome. Okay, let's get back
Everyone's.
into this. Can you guys
I
see my
love it.
screen still?
Yes. Still see your.
Okay, you guys, we're going to dive into the proven plan and we're going to blow through this because we have a lot to go still. All right, let's talk about the fundamentals of network marketing, right? I love what Holly said as she opened up the call. The fundamentals are always going to stay the same. All right, if you're not inviting to your business, guess what? Your business isn't going to grow, right? So we have three fundamentals of network marketing: prospecting, which is inviting. I like to say prospecting, I guess, isn't the right word. But that's you putting yourself out there, right, to find those business partners, to grow your business, prospecting, inviting, right, sharing that ABC News report, inviting to opportunity presentations, and then following up. I don't know about you, but I talk about this openly. Follow up for me is one of my biggest struggles. You guys, I'm super ADD. For me to focus on one thing, it's a challenge. So following up for me has always been my Achilles heel. So I just want you to know that when you're getting into those basics, you may be really good at inviting, but if you're not good at following up, guess what? Most people need 6 points of contact before they're ready to make a decision. So thinking about it that way, right? Okay, taking action in your business will grow you from amateur to professional. I already kind of covered this, but just know that you don't have to do it all on your own, right? You have an upline support, you have a team that can help you, especially if you're on this call today and you just launched your business. Maybe you've never done network marketing before. What I love about this industry is that it's not an I business, it's a we business. So lean on your upline support, lean on the person that's been doing this, right? Connect in. Just know that you don't have to do this on your own. Okay, one of the things that you need to get really good at from the very beginning, whether you have experience or not, is identifying your key leaders early on, identifying the people that are willing to take action. Okay, sometimes I knew when I just started my business, I would spin my wheels working with the people that never wanted to work, right? I spent a lot of time worrying about what they weren't doing rather than focusing and going out there and finding my key leaders that were willing to take action in their business. And you're going to know who those people are. Okay, those people are going to be calling you on the phone. They're going to be consistently inviting to opportunity presentations. They're going to be consistently putting you on third-party calls. So they're going to identify themselves. You just have to be willing to get really good at supporting them and helping them launch successfully. You guys, this business is about launching, relaunching, launching, relaunching, right? It's going to require you to help your key leaders launch successfully and teaching them the proven plan, teaching them the process of connecting, inviting, sharing the first touch video, whatever that is for your team. And then connecting them. You guys, sometimes we forget that a lot of the reason that people do this business is for the community. If you're not connecting them in with your leaders and bringing them into the fold, they're going to feel like they're way out there in left field by themselves. Okay, so when your team feels supported by you and you're helping them continuously launch their business, I've been doing this business. Holly's been doing this business for 14 years. Holly, how many people would you say you've launched successfully in this business? I want to kind of hear from you today because this is relevant.
Oh
How
my
many people do you
gosh.
think you've launched? I guess that's a putting you on the spot,
I know,
but
put me on the spot. Honestly, I've definitely launched more people than I can recall. Um, but there's a lot less of those folks, obviously, that are still around, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, I mean, easily, as far as like personal consultants that we've enrolled, I mean, well over 100, right? That we've personally launched ourselves for
Amazing.
personally enrolled. But,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, even people on our team, right? Because someone will be a bridge and bring someone in, but the person who enrolled them isn't around anymore. So you end up helping that person launch their business, right? For them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, that process never ends. And when you guys get super good at launching and relaunching, you know, what we do with our team specifically is we like to call them open house calls. But what we do is as soon as a consultant enrolls, and I'm going to talk about this because this is important, we get on a welcome call, right? So it's the leader and then the support leader get on a welcome call and just talk about their goals. If you're not doing that with your new people, you guys, you haven't welcomed them officially. Making a Facebook post in your group is not welcoming a new team member. Get on a Zoom with them, talk with them, get to know them, bring them into the fold, offer your support. Okay, so we try to do that within the first 24 to 48 hours is get on that support Zoom. Okay, talking about their goals, talking about exactly what they do day one. Sometimes we assume because maybe you've been doing this business for a while that people just understand how to launch. They don't. So launching with them the first 24 to 48 hours. And then guess what we do on that 24 to 48 hour call? On that very first call, we schedule what we call an open house opportunity where they're literally making their list on that call of 50 people they want to invite to their business launch. Okay, so I'm just kind of get you to think about the things that you can do to really lean on your support team and then launch your team successfully. Okay, that was just an example. I can answer questions about that if you guys have more, but setting goals is essential for your success. This may sound cliche, but you guys, you guys are going to write down that gratitude list. What I'm going to have you also do is set your goals. Okay, maybe you haven't yet reached the rank of SC1. That's our base rank, right? That's the very first goal, your launch goal. That's why I love what the company put together, our launch bonuses, right? The goal is to launch somebody and get them to SC1 in their first 90 days. How are they going to do that? By getting into action and by inviting. Okay, so that is going to be your first goal if you're not an SC1. And maybe you're thinking, well, I've been trying to do this business for so long and I'm still not an SC1. That's okay. Maybe you just haven't gotten laser focused on inviting. So I want you to write down your goals. Maybe you're an SC2 or an SC3, whatever your next rank goal, your next rank is, write that down and understand that you have to have directed action to achieve that rank, right? And it's inviting. At the end of the day, inviting for me used to be super hard, but as you do it, you're going to get really, really good at it. And then, of course, setting your long-term goals and intentions. Okay, why you're doing this business when the going gets rough, what's going to keep you around when the going gets rough, right? Okay, we're going to talk about growing your database. Okay, the magic lies in your network. Don't prejudge your friends or family. Let them decide for themselves. You guys, I told you the story about Carrie. She followed up with me for 3 years. Can you imagine? I was one of the very first people she called when she first watched that ABC investigative report. I was one of the very first people that she called. I watched the video and it just wasn't for me in that moment. She followed up with me for 3 years. She didn't prejudge me. She didn't think, oh, Jenny doesn't want this. Every time I would go to her house, hey, you want to join me in business? Hey, let's watch this video. Hey, you want to try this product? She never gave up on me. Okay, so you're going to grow your database, but don't prejudge people. Okay, you want your list to be as long as it possibly can. And of course, with social media, your list should be at least 500 people with social media, you guys. There's so many people out there. Don't be afraid to build your list. Okay, starting with 50 people. I want you guys to make a new list today. Make a list of 50 people that you want to invite to an opportunity presentation. Get with your upline support. Let them know, hey, I want to do an opportunity presentation where I'm launching my business again. Okay, and invite those 50 people to take a look at what you have. All right. I just want to encourage you with that. Don't get overwhelmed by making a list. I know that when I first started making my list, I was like, oh, I had so many people on my I was so scared to talk to those people, right? The really successful people, I was like, oh, why would they want to do this business? I haven't had success. Why would they want to listen to me, right? I had all those negative beliefs, right? What we talked about, that belief gap when I was making my list. So don't be overwhelmed by that. Okay, we're going to talk about mastering the invite to accelerate your growth. I've kind of mentioned this, but you guys, if you're not inviting, your business isn't growing. End of story. Okay, so I know invites can be a little overwhelming. Take your phones out. You're probably going to want to screenshot this. Here's some invite sample scripts that you can use today. Okay, so take a screenshot of this. I just wanted to give you an example. I know that inviting, it's like, what do I say? You guys just be you. When you're inviting, be authentic. I think sometimes we get weird. We call people on the phone. We're like, hey, I just started this business, and you get all weird and nervous. Just talk to them like you're talking to them, like they're your friend. Invite them with authenticity. And you guys, once you get the habit of inviting, you're going to get really, really, really good at it. I can guarantee you that Holly is probably an excellent inviter. Why? Because she has confidence. She comes in with that authority, right? So inviting for her, I'm sure it didn't start off that way, right, Holly? When you first launched your business 14 years ago, you probably were not the best inviter. I know I wasn't. I
Nope.
don't know if you want to share your story about that, but it's true. Like it's nerve-wracking sometimes, I think, for sure.
You like have diarrhea of the mouth and you're like stumbling over your words and you're so afraid to say the wrong thing. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I know I've gotten better, but I'm definitely not perfect. Like there's still people today that I get nervous and I have to give myself that boost of confidence before I even send them a text message to even see if they might want to go have coffee or hop on a phone. Like I'm so nervous. Like I don't, like, oh my gosh, I know they're really busy. I don't want, I still do it today. I
I
still,
love it.
okay. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, truly, I get nervous too. I mean, I've been doing it for 14 years, so don't feel like you have to be perfect either. I think when you are perfect, people are like, "Well, I can never do what she does." Right? So don't always think that
exactly.
you have to have the right thing to say all the time. A lot of it, hey, you're going to get better at it as you go along. So I love that. Okay, so let's talk about you guys telling the whole story. Okay, I don't know about you, but when I first launched my business, I was such a health nut about the Protandim NRF2 that all I talked about was the product because I saw it do such incredible things in people's bodies. I was more of a product girl, right? But I was really missing out on telling the whole story. Don't assume that somebody just wants to know about the products. You have to offer them the whole story. Okay, telling them your story, the product story, the company story, and most importantly, how they can earn an income. One of my top leaders today, I think the best question, she still talks about this. You guys know Holly Nesbitt. She
Hmm.
started this business because of the product. She had a health challenge. And then I went to her and I said, Holly, have you ever thought about maybe what it would look like to get your products paid for? That's how I offered the income opportunity to her. And she was like, really? Like I had never talked to her about the business when she first signed up because we were just talking about products and how they were going to help her with her health challenge. So when I actually asked her the question, would you like to see how this could change your life and how you could get your products paid for? You want to just take a look at that? That opened up the Pandora's box of a leader now, 7 years later, who is one of my strongest teams. You guys, because I asked her the question, right? I told her the whole story. I let her see the vision of what was possible. So don't discredit even the people that are your customers in your business today. Follow up with them, okay? And say, hey, ask them the question. I know you love these products. How would you feel about maybe getting your products paid for and helping a few people get healthy while you're at it? Okay, so asking those questions, telling them the whole story, letting them know that this isn't just an incredible breakthrough product. There's an incredible breakthrough business waiting for them on the other side. All right, let's talk about follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up, and I know this. You guys, I'd probably be a presidential right now if I was good at follow-up. I'm no joke. Like, seriously. This is my Achilles heel, like I said. I always say this openly because maybe there's a part of the business that you feel is your Achilles heel. This is mine. And in fact, I'm always like, gosh, how can I make AI just follow up with all these people, right? How can I make the process of follow up better? But truly, you guys, your success, most people do not make a decision whether they want to do business or even start on these products until they've had about 6 points of contact. So if you're not following up, you are leaving massive amounts of money and growth on the table in your business. Okay, so this has been my laser focus. I committed at the beginning of this year to focus on the follow-up, right? Because it's the biggest thing that I struggle with. So that is my laser focus. That is the thing that I'm focusing on this year is to teach myself how to get good at the follow-up because this is my biggest struggle, right? So following up is going to be key. I have people in my business, like I mentioned, Holly, she is a master at the follow-up. She has a list that she carries everywhere with her, lists everybody out on social media, and she follows up with him. That girl just enrolled a business partner that she had followed up with for 2 years. Okay, Randy, one of her girls that owns the wellness center, she followed up with Randy, I believe, for 3 years. Okay, and guess what? Randy is one of her biggest legs now, one of her biggest teams. But guess what? She had to follow up with her for years. So follow up, you guys, I hope I'm making this point clear, is just as important as inviting. Okay? So if you're not good at it, make your list and focus on that. We can do it together. And then of course, common mistakes, we'll just kind of lightly breeze through this, but pitching too soon, right? Trying to sell them before you've developed that relationship. You guys, this we can't forget this is a relationship business. And if we're putting money before the relationship or the sell before the relationship, you're never going to get anywhere. Okay. So being authentic. Okay. Another common mistake is chasing instead of inviting, being one of those crazy people. Just invite authentically. Stop chasing people. They're going to come around eventually. Okay. And then, of course, talking more than listening. I want you to think about this. When you're in a conversation, are you like one of those people that is already thinking about what you want to say and interrupting people? I'm not kidding you. Like, I kind of, if I'm being real, I struggle with that, right? I'm always thinking, well, this person wants to hear what I have to say. Focus on being a really good listener. And I promise you, you're going to find that people just want to be heard. So, as we dive into social media, Holly, I don't know if you want to say anything about the proven plan and inviting and all the things that I just covered, but I
No.
think we're going along here.
Yeah, no, let's keep rocking and rolling.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, we're going to dive into social media. Get your phones out. We're going to blow through these slides. I just realized what time it is, 9 o'clock. But you guys, the focus of social media, and I think this is a conversation that needs to be had, is it's not about becoming an influencer. All right. It's about casting a wide net. And in fact, when we train our team on the basics of social media, we tell them, don't try to be an influencer. Okay, this isn't about becoming an influencer. It's about you showing up and being being out there and sharing what we have in regard to the product and the opportunity and doing it in a way that attracts people. Okay, if you're utilizing social media the right way, you're attracting people into the business. You're not chasing them. You're providing value. You're continuously showing up on social media. You guys, I promise you, being consistent, people are watching. Okay, so when you're casting that wide net, you showing up on social media is doing that. Okay, don't feel like you have to be an influencer. Don't feel like whatever you post has to be perfect. Like Holly said in the beginning, maybe you made a post and you only had 2 or 3 likes. You're totally frustrated by it. It happens. It happens to me. I've been doing social media now for 6 years. It gets a little bit overwhelming. Okay. So don't get discouraged, but just know if you're utilizing social media the proper way and you're continuously showing up and you're being consistent and providing value, right? When you show up providing, don't think, what am I going to post to get a lot of likes? Think, what am I going to post that's going to bring people value today? So it's just changing that mindset around social media, right? Like adding that value, showing up, being a positive person. Okay. And then obviously sharing testimonials and proof, right? We have so much social proof with our products. When you're doing that effectively on social media, you're going to find that people are going to start raising their hands and asking questions. Okay, so the four pillars of success on social media, I kind of talked about value already, creating curiosity. You're not going out there and posting bottles of Protandim on your social media saying, buy my product, right? You're creating curiosity. And I'm going to take you through a campaign that we developed, which I'm sure you guys have kind of heard about. It's called It Starts with Yellow. Okay, so we're going to talk about how you can create curiosity and kind of the mindset behind where It Starts with Yellow came about. And a part of that was just simplifying what we talk about in regard to our products, right? So I'm going to dive into that in a minute. But before we go into that, let's talk about optimizing your profile. Okay? If your social media profile does not look professional, just think of this as your business card. If somebody goes to your social media, what picture do you have on your wall? Right? Is it look professional? Does it look like, wow, I want to be a part of that girl's team, right? You want to make sure that your profile is optimized, right? Creating your bio to really, in one sentence in your bio, you should be able to explain who you are and who you serve, right? In your bio. And when I get into the AI training, if you guys are overwhelmed about optimizing your profile, I'm going to teach you how to do that on AI, right? You guys, there's so many tools with ChatGPT and with Claude to help optimize your profile. Don't feel like you have to do it on your own. Okay, so we're going to dive into our Facebook strategies, choosing your 5 pillars. When you're posting on Facebook, this is just kind of how we lay it out, right? You kind of want to take your 5 pillars, and that's going to be anything that you want to focus on, right? So you're going to choose your 5 pillars, whether it's posting about your family, maybe lifestyle freedom's one of them. Obviously, our products are going to be a part of that 5 pillar process. Don't leave out the business, right? We talked about telling the whole story. Your part of your pillars should be creating curiosity around the business, whether that's sharing a picture of your team, your community, maybe you're posting your team's rank advancement, right? Congratulating people on social media. So people are thinking, wow, I don't know what she's up to, but that sounds pretty exciting. Like she's got people becoming successful, right? So you want to make sure that you're hitting these 5 pillars throughout the week. And like I said, you can utilize, once you develop your 5 pillars and you know what those are, choose something that you're passionate about. Maybe it's gardening, maybe it's teaching, maybe it's going to thrift shops. I don't know, anything. Whatever it is you're passionate about, make those one of your 5 pillars. And then taking those 5 pillars and posting every day. You guys, consistency is so important as you're growing your social media and as you're showing up and being authentic. Okay, so it's going to require you to be consistent. One of my favorite things to do is post inside of stories. Who utilizes the stories feature on their Instagram or their Facebook? If you're not utilizing stories to sell these products, you guys, you're missing out. I actually really like to talk more about products inside of my stories because you can see who's actually looking at your stories and reach out to them directly. Okay, so stories is a big thing. And then, of course, making sure that you're engaging with other people on social media. Don't just post and ghost. Okay, when you're engaging, I know a lot of the times I'll go and post something and then I have 10 comments and I forget about those comments. It happens to the best of us. So, seriously, you guys, engaging and offering, like, you got to give love to get love, right? We can't just be those consumers where we just want to post and have all these loves and likes. You have to go give that to other people. Okay. And then connecting inside a messenger, of course, is super important. Some of my best team members that I've enrolled have come through social media inside a messenger. Holly Nesbitt, I keep talking about Holly, but she was somebody that I met on social media. Okay. We met on social media because she was looking for a solution for her health crisis. Okay. And then we started that conversation inside of direct messenger. A pro tip about using messenger is I would say instead of typing out a message, leave a voice chat. You guys, that's a pro tip. Being authentic, introducing yourself, starting that relationship, excuse me, on inside of Messenger is huge. Okay, so we talked a little bit about attraction marketing, you guys, creating curiosity. Just know that when you get really good at creating curiosity, you're not going to ever feel like you're selling people, right? So we're going to move on here. Okay, so I talked about It Starts with Yellow. Who's seen all us the company post about It Starts with Yellow, right? We're bringing it back to the basics. We're talking about how to create curiosity. That was the slogan that we came up with because guess what? It's explaining what Protandim Nerf 2 is, and it's getting people to ask questions. That's the whole purpose about bringing it back to the basics. And how are we going to keep things simple when we have a product that's super hard to explain, you guys? I don't know about you, but how many of you have vomited Protandim Nerf 2 and all the science on people? Like, how many of you guys, if you're being real with yourself, I love it. Holly's raising her hand over there. Teresa's raising her hand over there. Truly, you guys, it's all about keeping it simple. Okay. So I'll actually send this Canva link to Holly. I'm not going to click on there, but this is our training document for examples of how we're utilizing social media in the It Starts With Yellow campaign. But let me see. You know what? I'm actually going to stop my sharing. Can you see my screen, Holly? Because I kind of want to show examples.
Yeah, it's loading. Yep.
Going
Your
through your
face.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see if okay. So
There
here's
it
an
is. It starts with yellow. I
example.
love that. Yep.
So we have it listed out. We have 10 posts already done that people can utilize, right? About this is all about creating curiosity on social media. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you another one. And I hope you
I
guys
mean,
can.
think about how simple you guys that she just showed you. How simple is that?
So for example, hopefully it'll come over. Can you guys see it? How cute is Shauna?
Oh,
This was what a real idea. Stop wasting money on supplements that don't work. It starts with yellow, right? So we have a list of 10 post ideas already laid out for you where you can utilize this very simple social media strategy to create curiosity all around Protandim NRF2. Are you guys excited about that? Truly? It's awesome. Okay,
yes.
let's see. I'm gonna have to present this again. I know going back and forth, I was like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this, but here, I'll give you guys want to see another example? Pull it up here. And there's Shauna again. How cute is she? This is the only product proven to extend life, and it's still a secret. Backed by 28 peer-reviewed studies, it starts with yellow, right? So I'm just trying to get you guys to think outside of the box. How can you utilize the It Starts With Yellow campaign to create curiosity? Again, I'll share this with Holly. You guys can utilize the post ideas, but it's been really successful for our team. You guys, I'm not kidding you. It's so awesome to really kind of go back and just keep it simple. All right. Holly, you have any questions about that? I'm going to move on to the next slide, but
No, nope. I think Jackie had a question, but I was trying to see if she could drop it in the
yeah,
chat. She had her
maybe
hand
we can ask
raised,
at the end, but
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
But again, we're gonna get you the link. You guys are gonna have all the posts that you can go ahead and follow yourself. So don't worry about that. And if you're questioning, again, we're already starting to overthink. Like, well, do I put this in my stories? Do I put it on my feed? Like, do I make it a real? Like, all the above. All right. Like, if you're like, and if you're questioning it, just do the thing because being able to post it and on all the platforms and all the areas is better than like having the fear that you're not going to post it in the right place. So just do it, right? Just hit the send button,
Love
hit that
it.
post button.
Yeah, and you're going to find how simple the It Starts With Yellow is. Make it your own, follow some of the leaders that are utilizing it. But you guys, I promise you, it's the best conversation starter to start those conversations inside a messenger. So keeping it simple and then presenting the products as solutions. Sometimes we go on social media and we're talking about all the benefits, right? All the benefits of what the products do when really you need to focus on the problem that our products solve and our business as well, if you think about that, right? Presenting the products as solutions. Okay. So I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like. Okay. And you guys take a screenshot because obviously you're not going to be able to read through this, but this is an example of presenting Protandim Nerf 2 as a solution. The question is, why am I so tired, right? I'm just going to kind of read through this, but ever feel like you're doing all the right things, sleeping, taking supplements, trying to eat better, but you're still exhausted? What does that do, right? It calls out the problem, right? Instead of saying Protandim reduces oxidative stress, increases glutathione, all the things, what you're doing is you're kind of transferring how you're talking about it, right? Focusing on the problem that Protandim Nerf 2 or any of our products, right, really addresses, right? For P84, it would be gut health. Think about presenting all of the different problems that people have with their gut health. Okay, so here's another example, aging faster. The problem is, we're calling out the problem, right? What if some of what we call getting older is actually our bodies struggling to keep up with daily oxidative stress, right? We're calling out the problem and then offering the solution. Somebody's walking in my gate back there, and I don't know who it is. It's weird. Somebody wanted to listen to my training right now. And then here's another example of another problem, right? Addressing the supplement cabinet post, right? You saw Shauna do that beautifully, right? Stop wasting your money on all of these expensive supplements and just implement Protandim NRF2. You guys, that's the solution. So here's an example. I love Jamie Williams. She always rocks it on social media. I would suggest following her. But she's addressing the problem of really wanting people wanting to look and feel better, right? And then here's Shauna saying, I used to struggle with energy, sleep, headaches, and allergies. That's all she says in her reel. How many people struggle with energy, sleep, headaches, and allergies? You think she's going to get through to some people? Absolutely. Why? Because she's focusing on the problem and then offering a solution for that problem, right? So when you're developing your social media content, write out a list of all of the problems you can think of, whether it's P84, what that product provides a solution for, right? So when you really get good at that, do it for all of our products. You're going to have so much social media content, you're not even going to know what to do with yourself, right? Okay, so let's talk about the power of storytelling. You guys, some of the best social media comes from really good storytellers, right? Facts tell, stories sell. When you get really good at uncovering your stories, whether it's in regards to the business or the products or your own personal story, when you're able to do that effectively, you're going to be able to find that your social media content is going to come a lot easier because you're going to be able to really develop those micro stories from what your basic story is, right? So here's an example of your story web. You guys take a picture of this. I want you to develop your own story web. Okay. Identify the problems that you've gone through, some of the things that the products have really done for you, right? So develop your story web. And this can be in regards to the products, it could be in regards to the business, like thinking about what the business has provided for you, some of the solutions it's given you. For me, right? A lot of what I share is it's allowed us to put my son through college, right? It's allowed us to go on vacations. So really, when you understand how to really develop these stories and weed them out for yourself, you're going to find that your social media is going to become a lot more effective. Holly, anything on social before we wrap up with AI? We good? Okay. So who's scared to use AI in your business? Drop a one in the chat. Let's be real. AI is super overwhelming. Well, you guys, we're going to bust through this, but I'm going to teach you how to use AI effectively, not only to develop your social media content, but truly, if you're utilizing AI the right way, you're going to find that it's going to simplify, right, your content for social. It's going to make you a better leader. But what you should know is that AI shouldn't replace you. It should amplify what you're doing in your business. Okay, the goal isn't to let AI do the work for you. The goal is to utilize AI to become a better thinker, a better communicator, be more consistent, be more organized. You guys, I'm truly not a naturally organized person, but since I've been using AI in my business, it's helped me tremendously. Okay. So, one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they ask AI to do it for them. So, I don't know how many people have talked into their AI today, but most people use AI like write me a Facebook post, right? You can't just go to AI and be like, write me an Instagram post today. Okay, that's one of the least valuable things that AI can do. You want to make sure you're feeding your AI and not just telling it what to do, because if you're utilizing it effectively, it's going to help you be a better coach, a better strategist. It can be your assistant. It can help you communicate better. Maybe you struggle with communication. AI should help develop you. Okay, so we're going to kind of transfer how you're going to talk to your AI. Don't ask, what should I say? Instead, ask, what should I learn? Okay, this helps grow your mindset. It's not just a content library. So here's some examples. You guys are going to probably want to take pictures of these slides. But here's some examples of what you can ask ChatGPT, right? You don't want to just go in and say, fix this problem, tell me what to say, tell me what to post. You want to start talking to it like, how can I make this better, right? Asking it questions. Okay, so here's tip one, how you can use AI for your as a daily CEO. Okay, so every day get in the habit of logging into your AI. You can create a project thread. And this is an example of what you can ask it. I have 30 minutes today. Coach me through today's highest impact actions for my business based on my goals. So here's some examples of how to use AI the right way so that it can actually help you get into action and list actions that you need. So here's just some examples. Like I said, you guys take screenshots of this. Make sure that when you're utilizing AI, that you can create projects. So you're not going back and starting a new thread. How many people have done that on AI? Go back every single time and start a new thread. You guys can actually create projects, whether you're using ChatGPT or whether you're using Claude. And you can develop, for example, like a social media project, right? Where everything in your social media that you're developing, whether it's content ideas, whether it's you developing, problems that the products are addressing, you can do that all inside of your project. So you're not having to go restart and retrain your AI every single time. So here's an example of how you can do that. I didn't even know that this existed, you guys. And when I started using the projects, it made my life so much easier. So here's an example of what you can add to your social media project or what you can add to your business project. Here's an example, your DMO, your goals, your ideal customer avatar, like who it is you're trying to attract on social media. Okay, it can help you develop your brand voice, your values. It can help you with your content pillars and your strategies. So there's so many different things. I know I'm kind of covering a lot. Don't feel like you have to be an expert at this. Maybe start utilizing AI to just help with your social media content, whatever it looks like for you. Okay, tip number 2 is that AI can actually diagnose your business. Okay, so instead of guessing, ask AI. For example, this is what you would say. I feel like the actions I'm taking aren't producing results in my business. Don't give me advice yet. Interview me one question at a time until you understand my business, my activity, and my habits. Then identify what you believe are my top 3 bottleneck problems in my business. So you guys, you can use, here's an example, take a screenshot of this, but you can ask it so many different things. And you guys, this blew my mind when I started using AI to really teach me what I was like missing. A lot of what it would say was, you're not good at following up. We all know that. AI actually told me that, which is pretty hilarious. But understand that AI is not solving a problem, it's diagnosing. When you're asking it the right questions, you guys, it's going to help just expand what you're doing in your business. It's going to help simplify the process. It's going to give you back more time, and it's going to be part of your support team. Okay. So, all right, I think we're wrapping up here. Oh, no, here we go. Become better at conversations. How many people struggle with the conversations, right? Whether it's in Messenger, whether it's in person, you can ask AI to help you become better at conversations. How do I respond to this person? How do I explain the products better? How do I explain the business? It can actually give you examples of exactly how to do that. So there's no excuse in not being good at inviting, because you can just ask AI, how do I become a more effective inviter? Right? This is what I struggle with. This is what I said to this person. Why did this person ghost me? It will probably tell you why that person ghosted you. It's crazy. And then utilizing AI to expand your network. Okay. How many people want to expand your network? You guys, AI is so powerful at doing that. It can help you become intentional. Okay. These are some examples of questions you can ask it. What are 30 natural ways someone with my personality could meet new people? Or, for example, how can I become more interesting online? You never know what it's going to tell you. What type of content that I can develop will create conversations instead of likes. So asking it these questions, you're going to see it's going to help you think better. It's going to help improve your social media. All right, not going on AI and saying, write me a post today, right? Instead, upload, this is an example, upload your last 20 posts or your last 20 photos in your phone and ask it to develop content based around your interests. You guys, there's so many different ways that you can utilize AI. It's when you start doing it and you start creating those projects, you're going to find that it's going to be the best support team ever. Holly, are you utilizing AI? I just wanted to ask. I mean, I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
You're a pro, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and like you, I'm still learning because you're right. If I don't ask the question the right way, I don't always kind of get what I'm looking for. And so I do have some settings that I've put in the background similar to what you did. It's like, I don't need you to agree with me. I want you to challenge me. I don't want you to sound or give me the standard, answer that you would give anybody else. I want to be unique, those types of things. So you can build some of that in there. But like the whole conversation piece, like there's times where I would have gone right in to, I guess, selling, you would say. And I realized, and it was literally telling me to put the brakes on, like, we're not there yet. And I loved that. So even I am starting to learn and change the way in which I approach a lot of my conversations. And it's been really cool. People have been more responsive to me. And I'm like, oh, this is fun.
It's pretty awesome. For example, I was going to say this. I put one of the posts that I made didn't really get good content or engagement. I
Mhm.
actually put that post inside of AI, and I was like, why wasn't this post that I made converting? And it basically diagnosed how I could make that post better in the future. Okay, you
Yeah,
aren't addressing the problem. You're trying to sell too much. It will tell you. So you can utilize it with so many different ways. It's not even funny.
I love
And
it.
of course, using it to brainstorm, organize your business. The
Mhm.
more you use it, the better you're going to get. And like I said, utilize the projects feature because when you get really good at organizing your AI, once you get really good on the social media aspect of it, you're going to find that it's just blowing and going and giving you those post ideas that are actually going to convert. So it's pretty awesome. Okay, so people always ask, what platform should I choose? You guys, I use both. I actually pay for both ChatGPT and both Claude. So it just depends on what you want to focus on to help it grow your business. But for example, ChatGPT is more of a coaching, brainstorming strategy type of a platform. And then Claude is more, all about writing, editing, summaries, organization. It's more of the business focused one. I always like to say chat's more of the I don't know how you would say it, more of the fun platform. But truly, you guys, you don't have to use both. Use one, learn it well. People always ask, should I do the free version or the paid version? You're gonna find pretty quickly, I think it's about $19 a month. It's worth the investment, you guys, to utilize it. And don't be overwhelmed. You'll get the hang of it. But I always suggest the paid version. It's a tax write-off. Okay. You're able to utilize it better and more efficiently. So free or paid, it's up to you. I think the $20 a month more than well pays for itself. And so
I look
I,
at it as the time that it saves you. Like it really over time it learns you and it learns obviously nuances. And I've had it do so many things for me where it has saved me so much time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars of my time had I had to actually do it myself. And it did it for me. So it's definitely worth the investment, I think.
yeah, definitely. And a lot of people think, oh, AI is going to replace, it's going to be weird. It does, don't let it replace what makes this business special. Utilize it as just, helping you, supporting you. It's never going to replace relationships, mentorship, critical thinking skills. Don't let AI replace your upline mentor in this business. You guys truly utilize it to really help you grow and understand that when you get good at it, it will make your life a lot easier. So with that being said, Holly, I think we're well over time. But you guys, I hope you guys took away something special from this training. Just know that getting into action is going to bring clarity. I always try to tell my team when you get into action, right? When you start doing social, when you start using AI, it's going to bring clarity. You may not know how to do it today, and maybe you're a little bit overwhelmed, even with the inviting process to this business. But just know that when you're doing things that make you uncomfortable, that's when your business is growing. Okay. So, with that being said, Holly, I'm going to turn the call over to you. Um, I know
Awesome.
we're coming up on the
Yeah, no, I
but
appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, technically, look, this call is scheduled to go 90 minutes. We technically still have 4 more minutes for those who are hanging on. So, all right, everybody, let's go ahead and show Jenny some love. Tell me that you did not get or learn something new or had like an aha moment, right? I mean, people even dropping in the chats the whole project for people already using ChatGPT. They didn't know about the whole projects. That was a game changer for me too, because I was like, man, I got to keep going back in here and restarting stuff and it doesn't remember anything. I'm like, how is this helpful? And then I was like, ah. right? It totally blew my mind. So, everybody showing you love, outstanding. Thank you. And again, what to kind of go back to the beginning, you guys, where Jenny was talking about is we've got a lot of distractions, and she shared a lot of really cool stuff with you and new information. And we say it every time. You get all excited and you want to go out there and do all the things. And then you're like, oh my gosh. And then you pause and you become paralyzed and you overanalyze, and then nothing happens. And you're like, I'll wait till Monday. And then Monday turns into Tuesday, and Tuesday turns into next week. And then, oh, well, I'll wait until stop. If you just catch yourself if you say, I will wait until. I love that you kind of gave the challenge where you said kind of pick that one thing that you're going to be like hyper focused on for the next 7 days, right? Jenny talked about picking that one thing. Maybe you haven't been inviting people or starting as many conversations as you know that you should. So maybe your focus for the next 7 days is maybe you challenge yourself that you're going to start 5 new conversations. That's it, right? Maybe ideally you want 10, but you're like, my minimum's 5. I am committed to at least getting 5 within the next 7 days. And again, we're not talking about starting conversations where you're saying, hey, are you open to taking a look at what I got? We're simply talking about starting conversations, commenting on someone's post, or maybe you saw something, so you're going to message someone privately, or maybe you've had someone on your mind and you haven't reached out to them in a while because you're like, oh, well, it's been so long now. It's just going to be awkward. Well, rip off the Band-Aid, make it awkward. Say, hey, this is really out of the blue, but you've been on my mind. And so I'm going to rip off the Band-Aid. How are you? How was your summer? What are you most excited about? Or, what's keeping you busy, right? What's keeping you busy this time, this summer? What are the things that are bringing you the most joy? We get talking about the weather and, how's work? Like, get creative with your questions. Use AI to help give you 5 new conversation starter questions for you to start those conversations. So just really have fun with it. So being grateful, even, looking at ourselves, what are the self-talk, the negative things that we don't believe? I love
Yeah,
that.
what
That's
are
good.
you
Austin's
doing?
coming over to say hi.
Get
Um,
down.
Austin's
Get
saying hi. Hi, everybody.
down.
Um, so yeah, so again, thank you, Jenny, for coming on here. I know that she says she was going to share a link as far as the posts go. So I will look to make sure that those who reach out to me go ahead and get that link at some point this weekend. And the replay, yes, the replay will be on we have a YouTube channel. It's the Team Legacy channel. I did drop that link a couple times down here in the chat. For those of you who see it in the chat, feel free to grab the link. That's where you will see the past replays for Activate Academy, as well as today's Activate Academy. And so, again, we are our own owners of our business. We are 100% responsible for the activity that takes place in our business. We don't need anyone's permission to do anything in our business. All right. And the last thing that you want, and I love that you also said this too, is that you don't want to leave your success in someone else's hands. So the next time you catch yourself saying something that is implying that someone else's opinion, someone else's lack of activity, someone else's lack of support, someone's lack of understanding, do not let that
Oh my
take
God,
away your own
Fritz.
success. Okay. So, thank you again, everybody, for joining. Please find that one thing to be hyper focused on. And how cool would it be if once you get
Morning and
one thing after the next 7 days that you message Jenny or I? How cool would that be? I would be shocked to see how many people actually do it. I mean, I'm just being honest. That's my challenge to you. How many are you actually gonna do it? So have yourselves a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you for investing in yourself. You should be proud of yourself. Go out there, have an amazing time, and I can't wait to go ahead and see you guys next month.